Attention span is the beginning and the end of the cell, always expressed in time. The cell is the intersection of the row and the column. There's 432,000 rows. There's 7.7 billion columns. If we stop the Earth from rotating, we just do one of those weird movies where we just freeze frame everything right now at 9 seconds, then we can go across every man, woman, and child on this planet and put something in that cell. In this case, John's attention is on his daughter, Mary's attention is on a hailstorm, Susan's attention is on a proposal, Dave is on rent, and her attention is on Bill, Sally on hunger. Something goes in every one of those cells, even if they're asleep, even if they're in a medically induced coma, it doesn't matter. If you're breathing, your attention is somewhere. The span, attention span, is just when did proposal come in and when did it leave? Usually always measured in seconds. We never need more than 432,000 rows because there's 86,400 seconds in a day. The best that we can do is 5 frames per second as human beings. The human condition prohibits us from doing better than 200 milliseconds. Attention is weird because as an organ, it's always like, the best way to imagine it is like a force field around you, like your skin. Trillions of 360-degree sensors always looking for something, typically anything that's going to be surprise or wonder, the unexpected, the low probability events. Its primary function is to keep you alive, but the 432,000 rows is because there is no such thing as subdivided or half attention. Attention really only comes in full and undivided. Your attention processor has an internal clock rate that it cannot do any better than 200 milliseconds. That's why 432,000 rows is all that's needed. You don't need twice as many. You learn nothing by looking at attention, at twice the fidelity, twice the clarity. If we only look at it every second, we do miss some stuff. Even though full and undivided attention, again at 200 milliseconds, which means that some of us, and some of us consider this a gift, some of us consider this a curse, that we could do up to 3 things inside of a second. Because 200 milliseconds times 5 is 1 second. The columns are human beings. Human beings and human attention are not the same thing. Human attention, best way to think of it is an organ. It's a part of you. It serves only you. Unlike, your heart, though, your heart is designed to pump your blood, not really interface with the outside world. Your blood can be given away, but, it's a difficult process. Your attention is like a force field. It's always out there anyway. You don't really give your attention to anything. Your attention is already given. It's trillions of little 360-degree sensors that's always out there. What you're doing is you're bringing your attention one thing at a time into your attention processor, and you're trying to do the best you can in terms of all the stuff that's coming at you that could require attention. Now there's so many things that it really has some semblance of, the vast majority of which are automatically, unconsciously, as far as you're concerned, are deleted or not even brought into, the register that where you have some choice in terms of where do you put your attention. Most of it is just stuff that will never have to, your attention doesn't have to deal with it. If you think about it, when somebody asks you to put your attention on your breath, that's kind of an exercise. It helps you to do some things, but you never actually have to put your attention on your breath. You're going to breathe regardless if your attention is on it or not. Other things, like you'll notice date night in a restaurant, if you're not paying attention, you're going to get that question, which is, what did I just say? And you're not going to be able to tell her what she just said. Some things require your attention, other things do not. But every human being, their attention is plottable in every moment of time at 5 frames per second. So all that's required is a 2D spreadsheet. If you fill this entire spreadsheet out, you would actually be able to see every man, woman, and child's attention, in color. The span, when we say the word attention span, is just where did it start and where did it end. The blue section that you see here, nothing more than that. When you query YouTube for attention span, most of the stuff that comes up is that our attention span is shrinking. That really doesn't make any sense. Your attention span has never shrunk. Human beings have been around for thousands of years. Our attention has never shrunk. It's just that we have so many more things that we can put our attention on, but your attention processor has always been the same. It's just, now we just have this weird thing where we think that most of us won't give sufficient attention like we used to, but it was a lot easier to give attention, to have a longer attention span back when we were sitting around a campfire listening to somebody tell a story, because nobody was being interrupted by their phone or all the other distractions that most of us deal with in 2019. But remember, we call them distractions, but they never really are. That's where your attention lives. It's in distraction land. It's just deciding what does it need to bring into the processor one at a time. That's why we only need a 2D spreadsheet. There can only be one thing at that intersection of that row and column, only one thing.